What if I told you that 66 million years ago, a rock from space hit Earth, and in less than 24 hours wiped out 75% of all life on the planet? The asteroid was 6 miles wide, traveling at 45,000 miles per hour. The explosion was equivalent to 10 billion Hiroshima bombs. Dinosaurs that had ruled the Earth for 165 million years were gone, extinct. Not over centuries, not over generations, within days. And here is what nobody wants to think about. That same asteroid, and if it hit today, would end human civilization in hours. 66 million years ago, the Cretaceous period. Earth looked very different. No humans, no cities, no technology. Just vast forests, oceans teeming with life, and dinosaurs. Massive creatures. Tyrannosaurus rex hunting in what is now North America. Triceratops grazing in herds. Pterosaurs soaring through skies. The oceans filled with marine reptiles. Ammonites spiraling through the depths. Life was thriving. And then, on an ordinary day, the sky caught fire. An asteroid, roughly 6 miles in diameter, had been hurtling through space for millions of years. A wandering rock, silent, invisible, until it crossed paths with Earth. At 45,000 miles per hour, it entered the atmosphere. The friction generated heat, unimaginable heat. The asteroid became a fireball, brighter than the sun. Every creature on the surface that could see it, dinosaurs, reptiles, early mammals, watched the sky turn white. And then it hit. The impact site was what is now the Yucatán Peninsula in Mexico, a shallow sea. The asteroid struck the water and punched through to the bedrock beneath. The explosion was instantaneous, 10 billion times more powerful than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. Everything within 600 miles was vaporized. Instantly, dinosaurs, plants, oceans, the rock itself, all turned to plasma. The impact created a crater 93 miles wide and 12 miles deep. The shockwave radiated outward faster than sound. It triggered earthquakes across the planet. Magnitude 10, maybe higher, the ground shook everywhere. But the shockwave was just the beginning. The impact ejected trillions of tons of vaporized rock into the atmosphere. Debris shot into space. Some of it rained back down as molten rock. Burning meteors falling across the entire planet, igniting wildfires on every continent. Within hours, the Earth was burning. Forests caught fire, entire continents ablaze. Animals that survived the initial blast were incinerated. The smoke and ash choked the skies, and then came the tsunamis. The impact displaced billions of tons of water. Mega tsunamis, waves over 300 feet high, radiated outward from the impact site. They swept across the Gulf of Mexico, crashed into what is now the southern United States, flooded coastlines thousands of miles away. But what killed the dinosaurs was not the blast, not the fires, not the tsunamis. It was what happened next. The dust and debris ejected into the atmosphere did not fall back down immediately. It hung there, suspended, blocking out the sun. The sky went dark. Temperatures plummeted. Photosynthesis stopped. Plants began to die. Without plants, herbivores starved. Without herbivores, carnivores had nothing to hunt. The food chain collapsed. Within months, 75% of all species on Earth were extinct. The dinosaurs, the marine reptiles, the pterosaurs, the ammonites, gone. The asteroid did not just kill the dinosaurs, it reset the planet. And here is the terrifying part, it can happen again. NASA monitors near-Earth asteroids, thousands of them. Most are small, harmless, but some are large enough to cause another mass extinction. And if one is on a collision course with Earth, we might not see it coming until it is too late. Welcome to If History Repeats. Today we are asking a question that should terrify you. What if the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs hit Earth today, not 66 million years ago? Today. What if it struck New York City, or Tokyo, or London? What would happen to humanity? And here is the promise I will keep by the end of this video. I will tell you whether we could stop it, whether our technology, our weapons, our science could save us, or whether we would be as helpless as the dinosaurs. If you are watching this, please subscribe. Every episode of If History Repeats explores moments when warnings were ignored and the disasters that followed. And today, we are exploring a disaster that no amount of warning could prevent. So let's talk about what would actually happen if a 6-mile wide asteroid hit Earth today. Let's say it strikes New York City. It is a normal day, morning rush hour, millions of people commuting, subways packed, streets crowded, and then, without warning, the sky lights up. A fireball streaks across the atmosphere, brighter than anything anyone has ever seen. It crosses the sky in seconds. People look up, confused, terrified, and then it hits. The asteroid strikes Manhattan at 45,000 miles per hour. The explosion is beyond comprehension. 10 billion Hiroshima bombs. The energy release is so immense that it defies human scale. New York City is vaporized. Instantly, every building, every street, every person. 8 million people gone in a fraction of a second. Not killed, vaporized, turned to plasma. But the destruction does not stop there. The fireball expands, a sphere of superheated gas and debris radiating outward at thousands of miles per hour. Everything within 100 miles is obliterated. Philadelphia, Trenton, New Haven, flattened, incinerated. The shockwave continues. At 500 miles, buildings collapse. Boston, Washington, D.C., Baltimore. Structures crumble like paper. Millions more dead. And then the heat pulse. The explosion generates heat so intense that it ignites everything flammable within 1,000 miles. Forests, buildings, vehicles, people. The entire eastern seaboard is on fire. But wait, there is more. The impact site is on the coast. The explosion displaces the Atlantic Ocean. A mega tsunami forms. Waves 300 feet high race outward. They obliterate the east coast, flood inland for miles, then cross the Atlantic, hit Europe, Africa, coastlines around the world devastated, and the United States government gone. Washington, D.C. is within the blast radius. The President, Congress, the Pentagon, all vaporized or crushed. The most powerful nation on Earth is decapitated in seconds, but the immediate destruction is not the worst part. The asteroid impact ejects trillions of tons of debris into the atmosphere. Dust, ash, vaporized rock. It spreads across the planet within days. The sky goes dark, globally, sunlight is blocked, temperatures drop, not just in the impact zone, everywhere. The entire planet cools by 20 to 30 degrees Fahrenheit. Photosynthesis stops, crops fail. Within weeks, the global food supply begins to collapse. The Midwest, America's breadbasket, is either in the blast zone or buried under ash. No wheat, no corn, no soybeans. Agricultural production stops. And it is not just the United States. The dust cloud is global. Harvests fail in Europe, Asia, South America, Africa, everywhere. Within months, billions of people are starving. Governments collapse. Infrastructure fails. Supply chains disintegrate. Electricity grids go dark. Communications break down. Civilization, as we know it, ends. Not over years, not over decades, within months. Humans might survive, small pockets, in bunkers, in remote areas. But the world we know, gone. This is not speculation. This is what the science tells us. This is what happened 66 million years ago. And it would happen again. But here is the question everyone wants answered. Could we stop it? NASA has a program, Planetary Defense. They track near-Earth asteroids, catalog them, calculate their orbits, determine if any are on a collision course with Earth. Right now, there are about 30,000 known asteroids. Roughly 1,000 are classified as potentially hazardous asteroids, large enough and close enough to pose a risk. But potentially hazardous does not mean imminent. Most will never hit Earth. Their orbits are stable, predictable. The problem, is detection. We have not found all the asteroids. New ones are discovered constantly, and some approaches are hard to detect. If an asteroid comes from the direction of the sun, it is nearly invisible until it is very close. Warning time could be years, or it could be weeks. And even if we detect it early, stopping a 6-mile-wide asteroid is beyond our current capability. In 2022, NASA successfully tested the DART mission. A spacecraft deliberately crashed into a small asteroid. The impact changed the asteroid's trajectory. Slightly. Proof of concept. We can deflect asteroids. But DART hit a small asteroid, a few hundred feet across. Moving it was difficult, but possible. A 6-mile-wide asteroid. That is a different challenge entirely. Deflecting it would require years of preparation, multiple spacecraft, possibly nuclear weapons detonated near the asteroid to alter its course. But if we only have months of warning, or weeks, there would be nothing we could do. We would watch it come and hope and pray, and then it would hit. And humanity would discover what the dinosaurs learned 66 million years ago, that when the sky falls, there is no escape. So here is the reality. An asteroid will hit Earth again. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not for another million years, but one day a rock will fall from the sky. Statistically, we are overdue for a city-killer asteroid, a rock about 100 meters across. Large enough to obliterate a major city. These hit Earth every few thousand years. The last major impact was the Tunguska event in 1908, a remote area of Siberia. If it had hit a city, millions would have died. A civilization-ending asteroid, 1 kilometer or larger, hits every few 100,000 years. We are not overdue for one of those, but not overdue does not mean safe. And a dinosaur killer 6 miles across strikes roughly every 100 million years. The last one was 66 million years ago. On a geological timescale, another one is coming. The question is when, and whether humanity will still be here when it does. NASA is watching. Scientists are calculating. Engineers are developing deflection technologies. We are not helpless, but we are vulnerable. Because even with all our technology, all our satellites, all our nuclear weapons, we are at the mercy of rocks in space. If you made it this far, thank you. 66 million years ago, an asteroid 6 miles wide struck Earth. The explosion was equivalent to 10 billion Hiroshima bombs. Everything within 600 miles was vaporized. Tsunamis swept across oceans. Wildfires ignited continents. The sky went dark. Temperatures plummeted. 75% of all species went extinct, including the dinosaurs. If that asteroid hit today, if it struck New York or Tokyo or any major city, the immediate devastation would kill tens of millions. The global consequences would kill billions. Civilization would collapse within months. And here is the promise fulfilled. Could we stop it? Maybe. If we detected it years in advance, if we had the technology ready, if everything went perfectly. But a 6-mile-wide asteroid with only months of warning, no. We could not stop it. We would be as helpless as the dinosaurs. An asteroid will hit Earth again. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not for another million years, but one day a rock will fall from the sky. And when it does, humanity will discover that all our technology, all our achievements, all our civilizations are fragile. Because some disasters do not destroy cities. They reset the planet. Share this with someone who refuses to look away. Next episode, London, June 14th, 2017. Grenfell Tower, a 24-story apartment building in West London, home to hundreds of people, families, children, elderly residents. Just after midnight, a fire starts, a faulty refrigerator on the 4th floor. It should have been contained. Modern buildings are designed with fire safety, compartmentalization, sprinklers, alarms, but Grenfell Tower was not safe. The building had recently been renovated. The exterior was covered with new cladding, aluminum panels with a flammable core. cheaper than fire-resistant alternatives. The cladding was supposed to make the building look better, more modern. Instead, it turned the tower into a death trap. When the fire reached the cladding, it spread fast. Flames raced up the outside of the building, floor after floor. Within minutes, the entire tower was engulfed. Residents were told to stay put. Standard fire safety advice for high-rises: wait in your apartment. The fire will be contained. But the fire was not contained. It was spreading. People trapped inside called for help, begged to be rescued. Some jumped from windows, others suffocated in their homes. 72 people died, men, women, children burned alive. Suffocated, trapped in a building that should have been safe. And here is the worst part. Warnings were ignored. Residents had complained for years. The building was unsafe, fire risks were documented, but nothing was done, because fixing the problems was expensive, and the people living in Grenfell Tower were poor. Grenfell was not an accident, it was negligence, corporate cost-cutting, regulatory failure, a disaster that was entirely preventable. And the pattern continues. I am if history repeats, and history always has something to say.